Hello everyone, I am Alka1993 and welcome to day 10 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Advent Calendar series. We are getting closer to halfway through this Advent Calendar. Yesterday we got Wind Up Rabbit, which is an Easter card. I'm still not really sure how that works with Christmas, but who knows. Let's find out what number 10 is, and if it's actually related or more related to Christmas. Ooh, I love this card. I really like the art. Mystical Fairy Elfuria. Mystical Fairy Elfuria is a level 3 spellcaster wind monster, 1500 attack, 900 defense. Once per turn, you can reveal one wind monster in your hand. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can exceed summon using monsters with a different level from the revealed monster as Xyz material. So this is somewhat of an anti-Xyz card. Now we have made one Xyz monster. Was it Underworld Shield Master, I think it is, for like day 3 or 4. For this card, I could make an anti-Xyz card. I could make an Xyz card anyway. Could make a wind monster. Lots of possibilities, as always. Mystical Fairy Elfuria is the card I will be working with in today's video. Mystical Fairy Elfuria is a very interesting card in the sense that it can block most Xyz plays. To stop most things, you'd like reveal a thing that decks usually don't do Xyz summons with. So you wouldn't. Well, I suppose against some decks, like revealing a level 4 wind monster would be fine. But quite a lot of decks have rank 4 plays. Let's say Heretics have 5 and 6 plays usually. Or might have some 8 players with like Blue Eyes White Dragon. You can block a frog deck off by just revealing anything that isn't a level 2 wind monster. So level 1 would make sense. Level 9, I'd say level 11 or 12 as well has a good chance of doing something with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a wind monster of a specific level. I have chosen number 1 because I feel like only Slacker Magician might be used. The rank 1 Xyz barely ever happen because there's not a lot of decks that run level 1 monsters anyway to Xyz with. So I'm going to make a level 1 wind monster. However, I'm not just making it a level 1 wind monster that exists and has some effect. I decided to make it a tuner because I do want to make at least one ritual monster, at least one tuner in Synchro during this custom card series. And I decided to go with a tuner this time. And I looked at some level 1 wind monster to make it work with, and I'm actually going to make a Synchro monster for Lyrilusc Sapphire, for Lyriluscs. Now, Lyrilusc are a level 1 Wing Beast Wind archetype that focuses on Xyz summons and does have 1 fusion in Independent Nightingale. I'm going to make a Synchro monster for it. Maybe not the Synchro monster in this video, but at least a level 1 tuner. So let's go get that done. Now, the Lyrilusc, some of them are like, if it is Xyz summon, like if you summon it using this card's Xyz material, that Xyz monster gets an extra effect. So I'm gonna make sure I get things like that done with my level 1 tuner, but then for Synchros. And I wanted to work with Lyrilusc. I wanted to work with Wind, especially to make it work with Elfuria. And I want to be able to use it in other decks, but I also definitely want to be able to come out with a Lyrilusc. So let's see what I can come up with. So it's going to be Lyrilusc. So how do you spell the Lyrilusc name? Wow, I can spell Lyrilusc. So I have an art for this already. Let's see. It's always the color in some sense. Pretty sure mine is black. That's what are words that are related to black in terms of color. I went with Lyrilusc Tawny Crow, and while I was looking for the name, Tawny being a shade of brown, or kind of brown, I realized that even though Cobalt Sparrow, most of it is brown, it has blue things in like little gems here in its eyes. Sapphire, turquoise, also blue related. And the art I found isn't blue. Now, the main thing They will have their color coming back at some point, but they all have their own color in their eyes. So I thought I'll just go with the eye color of my thing, which was a kind of brown. So I went with Tawny Crow. You'll see the art in just a moment. So I think like the blue related ones will just be like the Xyz ones. Maybe the brown ones will be Synchro. That'd be kind of cool. I want to show you the art and work on it from there. So I'm actually just gonna not put in so much. I'm going to make it a wing based so that it will work with more of the Lyrilusc support. It's going to be a tuner and it's going to be wind. Level is blank. It'll be level 1. Lyrilusc Tawny Crow. This is the one. I'm trying to find a child bird person, and this is what I found from the Anime Plus Anima. Now its attack and defense aren't going to be 1. Those are going to have to be different. But I will have to decide on the effect now. I want it to work with wind monsters, not necessarily winged beasts, because I want it to, I guess, work with Elfuria. The idea to still make it link it with Elfuria is Elfuria has to be able to reveal it to stop XC summons with monsters that aren't level 1. And then I want Tawny Crow to be able to be special summoned. So maybe if you control a wind monster, you can activate that effect, special summon it in like attack position or defense, whatever. I think I'll go with attack. And that way it'd work with these ones as well, but then you can only special summon one of them per turn or something like that. Or you can only use that effect of Lyrilusc Tawny Crow once per turn. I think I will do that. Do I make it an activated effect? Or something like Orochi the Squall and make it just a special summon? So all of these are activated. If you control a winged beast type monster, you can special summon both this card and one level 1 winged beast one. Yeah. We can make it activated. Let's make it similar to Sapphire Swallow. Except make it different. If you control a wind monster, and even if it would be winged beast, it would just be winged beast, not winged beast type anymore. You can special summon this card from your hand. You can activate this effect of Lyrilusc Tawny Crow once per turn. So that's the first part. This looks a bit weird. Winged beast like this. Does that change if I that Sea Serpent? It doesn't have that. Winged beast is just weird, maybe because it's a long word. Maybe. Oh yeah, I can keep saving it if I do that. Special summon it any other way. It's a tuner. Can only use this effect once per turn. Let's see. A wind Synchro monster was summoned using this card on the field as Synchro material gains this effect. That one is on a separate line, I believe. Is that with all of them? Or just 2? Yes, that is on a separate line. How do you make this dot normally? I generally just copy it over from other things. If it is Synchro summoned, what would I do with it? I'm not really sure what I want to do with the Xyz. Let's look at the Xyzs. That one per material can attack directly, get more points. I could limit this one, the Synchro, this one, to wind monsters as well. The Sapphire Swallow can be used for other Xyzs that are level 1. It's just that wind exceeds monsters get an additional effect. And I think I want to do this with mine as well. So I'm just thinking mostly what I want to do with the Synchro monster. I do want to be able to combo that with this one. So should I just make both for today? You can search your deck for a level 1 wind monster and add it to your hand. That way you can get your Sapphire Swallow, Turquoise Warbler, Cobalt Sparrow, Tawny Crow, things like that to your hand to make plays later, because it is intended to be used in the Lyrilusc deck. So if you combo it well, you get like 3-4 materials easy. So the Synchro would probably have to be level 3 or 4. Let's see what wind Synchros exist. Monster, Synchro, no, not water, wind. Quite a few. Doesn't need Gustos, doesn't need Dragunities. Let's go level 4 and below. Let's go, so that one's TG specific. Lyrilusc could be decent. High speed rate puzzle. Guess that's doable. Martial Metal Marcher. You can get a tuner back. The Synchro mods that use this card of Synchro material is treated as a tuner. And it's a tuner itself. It's interesting. Or Old Entity Haster. Well, the Lyrilusc one will probably be level 3 or 4. Or maybe I'll make a level 3 and a 4, but just not make it as part of this video. But I will show it in the next one. And that's even more reason to play a Lyrilusc deck, because I like the archetype anyway. And then I'll just try and combine it. See how that works out. Alright, now I'm going to look for level 1 wind monsters. That I could add to here. Alright, Skiel. Huh. Oh, we'll probably not get a Mech Lord in the Advent Calendar. I think I'll just make it, you can add a level 1 thing to your hand. If it is Synchro summoned, you can add 1 level 1. I think I accidentally typed 12. Yes. Oh hey, Cobalt Sparrow actually has an effect like that. You can add 1 level 1 wind monster from your deck to your hand. That seems like a nice thing to go with. Now for the stats, what do these have? 100, 0, 100, 100, 0, 100. So the other level is definitely meant to be used as exceeds material. This one will be the same. I'll just give it 200, 100. Because I feel like going with 200. Lyrilusc Tawny Crow, level 1 wind wing beast. If you control a wind monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect, Lyrilusc Tawny Crow, once per turn. A wind synchro monster was summoned using this card on the field as synchro material gains this effect. If it is synchro summoned, you can add 1 level 1 wind monster from deck to your hand. This way you can use it in any wind deck for synchros, but the additional effect is meant for Lyrilusc specifically, and I think that is a good thing, because I do want it to be a Lyrilusc card. So now let's check Alfuria again. Bring it up here. Once per turn you can reveal 1 wind monster in your hand. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, neither player can exceed someone using monster with a different level from the revealed monster as exceeds material. Now let's say you do that with Tawny Crow. Then you special summon Tawny Crow using its effect and use Synchro into a level 4 with Alfuria. So if you read Alfuria carefully, it means that even if Alfuria leaves the field, the effect still applies. It lingers on the field. It lingers for both players. So then a level 4 Synchro could be used. So maybe, yeah, that just makes me wants to make a level 4 Lyrilusc Synchro more, not only to work with Lyriluscs, which is the main idea, but also so I could summon it with Alfuria to make the original tuner and that Synchro, I suppose, to work with Mystical Fairy Alfuria. So this is our card for now, but there will be a level 4 Synchro coming soon as sort of a bonus video, I suppose, for Mystical Fairy Alfuria. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.